Have you ever wondered why, despite being surrounded by people, you sometimes feel completely alone? A few years ago, I hit a low point in my life. It wasn't just the struggles at work or the endless scroll of social media showing everyone else's perfect lives. It was a deeper realization. I noticed that despite my fears, my efforts, and the constant second-guessing of how I was perceived, most people didn't actually care about what I was going through. At first, this truth was hard to swallow. It felt like an echo of loneliness, louder than anything I'd known. But as I sat with this uncomfortable thought, I realized I was reading Marcus Aurelius's Meditations, and his words on self-reliance and inner peace resonated like never before. What if this realization, instead of being isolating, was actually freeing? Stay with me as we dive into how embracing this truth through the lens of Stoicism can lead to profound freedom and strength. The core of Stoicism: focusing on what you can control. One of the foundational teachings of Stoicism, emphasized repeatedly in Marcus Aurelius's Meditations, is the importance of focusing only on what you can control. In the face of realizing that nobody truly cares about your day-to-day struggles or victories, this principle becomes vital. Marcus wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This is not just philosophical rhetoric, but a deeply practical approach to life. When you accept that the attention and opinions of others are beyond your control, you begin to release the burden of trying to manage them. For Marcus Aurelius, who bore the immense weight of ruling an empire, this lesson was crucial for maintaining his composure amid political strife and personal losses. Today, it means understanding that no amount of social validation or external approval can define your value or peace. This shift changes how you navigate your life, from seeking the approval of peers or bosses to making decisions rooted in your own values and sense of purpose. Have you ever worried endlessly about what others think of you, only to realize later that no one even noticed your so-called mistake or misstep? This is what psychologists refer to as the spotlight effect, the tendency to overestimate how much others notice and care about our actions. Stoicism predicted this concept centuries before it had a name. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." This insight can be transformative. The truth is that people are too absorbed in their own thoughts and worries to focus on yours. Just as you stress over how you're perceived, so does everyone else. This realization is liberating. It releases you from the chains of self-consciousness and allows you to act with authenticity. Marcus understood that by shedding the false belief that others are constantly watching and judging, one could attain genuine inner freedom. Stoicism teaches the practice of apatheia, a state of being undisturbed by external circumstances or opinions. This doesn't mean indifference in the sense of cold detachment, but rather the ability to maintain emotional stability regardless of external praise or criticism. Marcus Aurelius demonstrated this beautifully. Despite being an emperor with immense influence, he maintained humility and did not let either the adulation or the opposition of others disturb his peace. Consider how this could apply in your own life. Imagine you're presenting an idea at work or sharing your thoughts in a group. Fear of judgment can cripple you, making you second-guess every word. But when you internalize that the majority of people are absorbed in their own narratives, a sense of calm sets in. You can express yourself without being tethered to how others might react. One of Marcus Aurelius's most powerful realizations was that living according to your principles is infinitely more fulfilling than living for others' approval. This approach dismantles the illusion that your worth depends on others' recognition. In modern life, this realization is more relevant than ever, especially when social media constantly feeds us the idea that validation equates to value. Marcus advised, "Receive without pride, let go without attachment." What does this mean? If someone praises your work, you can acknowledge it with gratitude, but remain unmoved by it. The same applies to criticism. Acknowledge if it's constructive, but don't let it anchor you in doubt. This practice of accepting both praise and blame with the same level of calm helps you build an unshakable core. You'll discover that once you stop seeking constant validation, your sense of self becomes stronger, more independent, and deeply rooted in your own values. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on the concept of solitude, not as isolation, but as a tool for strengthening the self. He wrote, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." This lesson is particularly poignant when we realize that nobody else can or will bear the full weight of our emotions and experiences. Solitude, when approached with the wisdom of Stoicism, becomes a source of power rather than loneliness. When you embrace the fact that nobody is constantly considering your well-being, you grant yourself the opportunity to focus on nurturing your own. The goal isn't to disconnect from others, but to ensure your well-being does not rely on their validation. For Marcus, meditative moments were essential for recalibrating his mind, reinforcing the idea that true peace comes from self-reliance. Try carving out moments in your day to step back from the noise, reminding yourself that strength lies in self-sufficiency. One of the most profound Stoic practices that ties into the realization that nobody truly cares is memento mori, or the contemplation of mortality. Marcus Aurelius frequently meditated on the idea that life is short and fragile, encouraging himself and others to act with purpose and clarity. When you accept that your time is finite, you naturally begin to prioritize what truly matters. Realizing that the opinions of others will fade just as you will can be freeing. Marcus wrote, "It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live." This reflection shifts your focus from worrying about others' fleeting opinions to living a life that aligns with your core values. The practice of memento mori helps you center your energy on meaningful actions, leaving behind the anxiety of seeking approval that ultimately does not impact the legacy of your existence. The fear of judgment is something nearly everyone battles with at some point. For Marcus Aurelius, facing the scrutiny of the Roman Senate, foreign dignitaries, and the masses was a daily reality. Yet, he emphasized the importance of anchoring oneself in one's own convictions rather than succumbing to the opinions of others. He wrote, "If you are pained by any external thing, it is not this thing that disturbs you, but your own judgment about it." Applying this today means recognizing that the anxiety we feel is not caused by what others think, but by our own internal narrative. When you realize that others are primarily focused on their own lives, the fear of judgment loses its power. By challenging and reframing your thoughts, you can shift your mindset from worrying about potential criticisms to appreciating your own actions and growth. One might argue, doesn't this realization make us uncaring or disconnected? On the contrary, Stoicism encourages compassion, but within healthy boundaries. Marcus Aurelius advocated for empathy, but warned against entanglement in the drama of others' opinions. He suggested that you should be tolerant with others and strict with yourself, meaning that while it's vital to be kind and supportive, it's equally important not to anchor your well-being to others' validation. Understanding that nobody truly fixates on you doesn't mean people don't care at all. It simply means their caring is not as all-consuming as we sometimes believe. People are dealing with their own struggles, which limits the amount of energy they can invest in others. Acknowledging this can actually foster more genuine interactions because you're no longer performing or expecting excessive investment from others. Building what Marcus Aurelius called an inner citadel, a place of mental fortitude that cannot be breached by external circumstances, is central to thriving despite external apathy. The strength of an individual, he believed, lies in how well they cultivate this internal stronghold. In Meditations, he reflected on the power of retreating inward to find stability and strength, urging, "Look well into thyself. There is a source of strength which will always spring up if thou wilt always look." Developing this stronghold means regular practices of self-reflection and mental resilience. Daily journaling, a practice Marcus himself followed, can be transformative. Use a journal to note moments where you felt vulnerable to others' opinions or were seeking validation. Then write down how you could have relied on your own inner voice instead. With time, this process helps shift your reliance from external opinions to your own judgment. In today's hyper-connected world, the pressure to conform and impress has intensified, making Marcus Aurelius's lessons more relevant than ever. Whether it's the pressure to maintain a certain image at work or to curate an ideal life on social media, the tendency to seek external validation is pervasive. But acknowledging that most people are too caught up in their own lives to scrutinize yours is empowering. Marcus's wisdom can be applied in the workplace by focusing on doing your job to the best of your ability, rather than worrying about office politics or the constant need to impress. In personal relationships, recognizing that others have their own preoccupations allows you to create more balanced, authentic connections. The key is to act with virtue, not with the goal of being praised, but simply because it's the right thing to do. Marcus Aurelius lived by the principle that virtue, acting in accordance with moral excellence, was the highest pursuit. This is echoed in his reflections. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. When you realize that nobody truly cares as much as you think, you're free to live virtuously without the weight of others' expectations. This shift encourages you to pursue actions that align with your values, not because they'll win approval, but because they are right. If you're working on a project, do it with diligence because it reflects your character. If you are helping someone, do it out of compassion, not for recognition. In the long run, living this way leads to a deeper sense of satisfaction than any external praise ever could. A powerful Stoic exercise that Marcus Aurelius often practiced was gratitude. However, this gratitude was independent of any external recognition or acknowledgement. He found peace in being thankful for what life offered him, regardless of others' responses. You too can adopt this approach by practicing gratitude without expecting others to notice or return it. Start your day by mentally listing a few things you're grateful for, even if they're small and mundane. Doing this shifts your focus from what you're lacking in terms of external validation to appreciating what you already possess. This practice can reshape how you view your interactions, helping you find joy in giving without expecting anything in return. Marcus Aurelius faced countless adversities, from personal tragedies to wars and political betrayals. Yet he held firm, writing, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This mindset turns the realization that nobody is constantly supporting you into a catalyst for resilience. Instead of feeling defeated by the lack of support, Stoics use it as fuel to cultivate self-sufficiency. When facing modern challenges, whether a professional setback or a personal loss, embracing this Stoic mindset means seeing adversity not as a barrier, but as an opportunity to grow. If you stop seeking validation, setbacks become lessons, and each step back strengthens your resolve. For Marcus Aurelius, self-reflection was a daily ritual that kept him grounded. He used his journal to dissect his thoughts, scrutinize his actions, and ensure they aligned with his principles. You can master self-reflection by setting aside time at the end of each day to ask yourself, did I act according to my values today? Was I seeking others' validation, or did I act independently of external praise? This practice will deepen your understanding of yourself and build confidence in your internal compass. Over time, this builds the realization that while the world may not pay attention, your own attention and growth are what truly matter. One of the most profound Stoic principles is amor fati, or the love of fate. Marcus Aurelius accepted the ebb and flow of life, understanding that every event, good or bad, contributes to the whole of one's existence. By embracing life as it is, with all its imperfections and the reality that others' opinions are fleeting, you align yourself with peace. He wrote, "A blazing fire makes flame and brightness out of everything that is thrown into it." Practicing amor fati allows you to view the realization that nobody truly cares, not as a disheartening truth, but as a part of life's nature that strengthens you. Accepting this fosters resilience and encourages you to move forward with grace, knowing that each moment is exactly as it's meant to be. The Stoics warned against entanglement in others' lives to the point of losing oneself. In a world saturated with social interactions, the idea that nobody truly pays as much attention as we think serves as a reminder to maintain personal boundaries. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "It is not necessary to be on friendly terms with everyone, but it is necessary to avoid ill will towards all." Learning to appreciate relationships without relying on them for validation helps you maintain your own path while still connecting with others meaningfully. This prevents over-attachment and helps sustain emotional balance. Marcus Aurelius urged people to look within for guidance. His reflections reveal that true meaning comes not from external recognition, but from living in alignment with your core values. This realization that nobody truly cares enough to define your worth empowers you to pursue a life of depth and purpose. Instead of aligning your goals with what others expect or desire for you, choose paths that resonate with your own sense of fulfillment. Whether it's a career decision, a creative pursuit, or personal development, following your internal compass rather than public opinion will lead to a more meaningful existence. The paradox of realizing that nobody really cares is that it grants you freedom. Once you internalize that others' opinions are not as constant or significant as you once thought, you become free to live a life true to yourself. Marcus Aurelius captured this freedom when he wrote, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." By adopting this Stoic insight, you unlock a way of living that is not only more peaceful, but also more courageous. Without the weight of others' expectations, you can pursue your goals without fear, be kinder without strings attached, and build a life where your peace is unshakable. To reinforce this life-changing realization, implement practical Stoic habits into your daily routine. Morning reflection. Start your day by reminding yourself that external events are outside your control. Center your mind on how you can respond virtuously. Mindful journaling. End your day by noting when you felt the need for external validation and how you responded. Reflect on how to build your inner strength further. Meditation on impermanence. Spend time contemplating memento mori to keep the impermanence of life and opinions in perspective. Intentional acts of kindness. Practice generosity without expecting recognition, aligning with the Stoic belief that virtue is its own reward. Silent moments of solitude. Dedicate time each day to embrace quietude, fostering self-reliance and an unbreakable inner citadel. By living with these practices, you embody the resilience and wisdom that Marcus Aurelius exemplified. You'll realize that while others may not be watching as closely as you once thought, you've been watching all along, and that's what truly matters. If this message resonated with you and sparked a new perspective on life, don't keep it to yourself. Make sure to like this video, share it with someone who could benefit from the teachings of Marcus Aurelius, and subscribe for more Stoic insights and practical wisdom. Join our community where we explore how ancient philosophies can transform modern living. Drop a comment below about how this realization has impacted you or what Stoic practice you're working on implementing today. Thanks for watching. Remember, the journey to true inner freedom starts with you.